into a day of rejoicing, into a day of celebration as we read in the text. I wasn't sure exactly how we should do this, but what I've done, and as you could see the Eicha, the lamentation. This is going to take a few more minutes till we actually get started. As soon as it's on properly and you can all see it, what we're going to do is, this is the way I'm foreseeing it, is that I'm going to say Eicha aloud. I'm going to read it in the Hebrew, in the original words of the prophet Jeremiah as he said it. Today we had some time as a family to discuss, to read a little bit about the history. Just a second. Struggling here, okay. So we had some time as a family today to read a little bit of it, and it's fascinating. So you could read along, read the story. It's very sad to see what happened with the lack of listening, the lack of paying attention to the reality at the time. And hopefully we could learn the lessons from it and ensure what is going on here. Just a second. We seem to be here with getting it on properly. Joining. Can you see the keynote? Yes?
It looks correct, Rabbi.
Okay, good.
It looks correct.
So we're beginning here with the word Yirmiyahu Hanavi as... What's correct?
What we see on screen is correct.
I missed that. I'm not sure who was... we're going to begin. We'll read it. Everyone can follow along, Hebrew, English together. And we'll go chapter by chapter. And afterwards, we'll have a short film about Auschwitz, just in the spirit of Tisha B'Av, which you'll all be able to watch with us.
You.
Okay.
We can see Ian Man, but we can't see you.
Oh, okay. So what we'll do then is I will spotlight. Can you see me now? I mean, Ian is probably more better looking to see than me.
Thank you, Rabbi. Just tilt your screen a bit.
Okay.
All good. All good.
Okay. Follow along in the text, and we'll begin together. Eicha Auschwitz. Ha'ir Rabba Siyam Ha'yisa Ke'almana Rabba Si V'Goyim Sarasi B'Medinais Ha'yisa Lamas B'Choy Sivke Balayla V'dimasa alecheya ein lo menachem mikol oyhaveh koreha b'gruva hayula le'oivim gosa Yehuda meyoini umeidoi v'avoda hi yoshevo v'goyim loy matzah manoyach kol roit fel yisigura bein hamitzorim darechei tzion avelois mibeli ba'ei ma'ed kol she'oreho shoymei min koyaneha nenachim V'sus lo'isel nugois v'imar lo Hoyu tzareh ha'leroish oyeveh ha'shalu Ki adinai yoigar pishaheha oilaleha Hochu shevi Liftzar Vayetze Mira Usara Im Loi Matu Mire Vayechu V'Leicha pulling it this. It's not moving down on my screen. Just
לא
see.
שומעים, לא שומעים אותך. I can't hear you properly.
Okay. For the screen to move, we'll just be patient. Okay, my apologies. We'll continue in a second. My internet got disconnected for some reason, but we'll be back on right now. Okay, we're up to verse 7. Let's just make sure the screen is on. Can everybody see? There we go. Zachra Yerushalayim Yimei Yom Merudeha Kol Machamudeha Asher Hayu Mimei Kedem B'Nefel Amo B'Yatzar B'Einai Zela Ra'u Atzarim Sochaku Al Mishpateha Chet Chata Yerushalayim Al kein l'nidayasa Kol mechabedeh iziluha Ki ra'u hervasa Gam hinencha v'toshavachor Tumasa b'shuleha Lo zachra charisa V'teret ploim Ein menachem la Re'adina yesani Ki higdil oyev Yadai paras etzara machmadeha Ki rasa goyim ba'u mikdasha Asher tzivisa Lo yavo b'kalalach Kol amon enachim evakshim lechem Nasnu machmadehem Be'oichel hashiv nafesh Re'adinai ve'habita Ki ha'yisi zoi leila Lo yalechem Kol oivdei derech Habitu riu Im yesh machoiv kemachoivi Asher oilali Asher gadinai B'yom charei napoi Mimarayim. Apologies, we lost the place for a second. Okay, I'm going back to verse 10. Yodai parasor kol machmadeha kirasol goyim ha'u migdasha asher tzivisa lo yavoyu v'koholoch kol amon enachim evakshim lechem nasnu machmadehem be'oichel ha'ishiv nafesh re'adinai ve'habita ki ha'yisi zoi leila Lo yalechem kol oivrei derech habitu riu im yesh machoiv kemachoivi asher oilali asher gadinai b'yom charei napoi. To verse 13. Mimarayim sholach eish b'atzmoisai v'yirdena Poras reshes l'raglai heshivani achor nisanani shoymema kol hayom dava. Verse 14. Niskad oil pishai biyadai yistargu alu atzabori shil koichi nisanani adonai B'yedei lo yuchal kum. Verse 15. Sila kol abidei adinai bekirbi koroloi moyei vishbor bachurai gas dorach adinai livsulas bas Yehuda. Verse 16. Alele ani voichia Eini aredamayim Kirachak mimeni Menachei meshiv nafshi Hayuvanai shoymemim Ki gavar oyev. Verse 17. Perisasiyim biyadeha Menachem lo tziva adinai Liakov svivav tzarav Hoysa Yerushalayim Lenida beinehem. Verse 18. Tzadiku Adinai Kifiu Marisi Shimunach Amrim Urim Achivi Shulaisayu Vachurai Hochu Vashevi. Verse 19. Korasi lamavai hema harimuni koyanayus kenai boir gavo kivikshu oichel lamai vayashivu es nafsham. We'll continue now with verse, with the rest of the chapter, just moving it over. Verse 20. Re'ei adinoi kitzar li meyai chomar moru nepach libi bekibi ki maroi marisi michutz shikla cherev babayis kahama. Verse 21. Shamu kinenachoni emenachem li kol evai Shamura sisasu ki ato sisa hevesa yain karasa vayuchamoini tavoy charasa lefanecha ve'oila moi kasher oila tali al kopshai ki raboy sanchoy sai. We're going to move now to the next chapter.
Rabbi,
Chapter-
unmute yourself. Yeah.
There we go. Eicha Yo'i be'apoy adinoi es bastioin Hishlich mishamayim eretz tiferes Yisrael V'chardam raglo bi'adapoy. Verse 2. Bila adinoi v'loi chamal Eis kol ne'ois Yaakov Horas bi'avrasoi Miftzerei Yehuda, Miftzer Vas Yehuda, Gila Oretz, Chilel Mamlecha V'Sareha, Goda B'Choriah, Kol Keren Yisrael, Heishivachor Yeminai Mipnei Yoyev, Vayivar B'Yaakov Lehava, Ochla Saviv. Verse 4. Dorach kashtoi kiyoyei Nitzov yiminoi kitzor vayadoi Koelach madeoyin Boya bas tzioin Shofach koesh chamosoi. Verse 5. Hoyo adinoi kiyoyei Bila Yisrael Bila kol armnoiseho Shiches nivtzoro Vayorev Vas Yehuda Tania Vania. verse 6. Vayachamois kagan tsukoi, shiches moyadoi, shikach adinoi bitzion, moyed b'shabos, vayinatz b'zam hapoim, melech v'choyim, verse 7. Zonoyach adinoi mizbechoin, yer mikdoshoi, hisgir b'yadoyev, choyos armnoiseho, Koil nosnu vesadinoi bioy moye, verse 8. Choshav adinoi lashchis mas bastion notokov lo yeshiv yadoi mi baleya vayachel chel v'choyma yachtovum lolu, verse 9. Tovu v'aretz she'areho Ibad b'shibar b'richeha Malka b'sorav agoyim Ein Torah Gam nevi'eh Lematzu chazoim Me'adinoi, verse 10. Yeshivu l'oretz yidenu Ziknei bas Tzion Helu afar ha'rosham Chagru sakin Horidu l'oretz rosham Bisulayis Yerushalayim Kalud badmois einai Chor marmaru me'ai Nishbach loretz kivedi Al sheve basami V'yotefei lev v'yonek B'choi vois kiriya, verse 12. Limay sam yoimeru Aye dagan v'yoyin Bisat vom checholo b'choivo yisir Bishtapech nafsham al cheki moisam Mo aideich mo adam elach Habas Yerushalayim Mashvelach vanachmeich Bisulas bas Tzion Ki gadol kayam Shivreich mirpalach Neviayich Chazulach Shavisafel Regul alabineich Lashiv shmuseich Vayechezulach Masay Shavah madruchim, verse 15. Sofku alecha kamayim Kolai v'derech Sharku v'yeno rosham Abbas Yerushalayim Hazois ha'ir Sheyomeru klilas yoifi Masais l'chol ha'aretz, verse 16. Patzu alayich piem Kolai v'yich Sharku v'yachkru k'shem Amru bihilanu Ach zeh hayom Shekivinu matzanu ra'inu, verse 17. Oso adinoi asher zamam Bitzam et oso asher tziva Mimei kedem Horas v'loi chamal Vayasma achalecha olayich oyev Herim keren tzarayich, verse 18. Tzak libam al adinoi Chemas bastion Horidich kanach adimoi Yoimam v'layla Al titni fugas lach Al tidoim basenayich, verse 19. Kumidoini v'layla L'roish ashmurois Shivchi chamayim lihibeich Noichach pnei Adonai Sei elov kapayich Anefesh oilalayich Hatufim barav Beroish kol chutzais, verse 20. Adonai v'habita Lemi alalta Lemi alalta koi Im toichalna nashim priyam Oilele tipuchim Imi Hareg, B'mikdash Koyim V'Navi, Shachvul Aretz Chutzos, Nar V'Zakein, Tzulesai V'Achurai, Naflu V'Choreb, Harakta B'Yahim Apecha, Tavachta V'Loi Chamota, Tikra, Chiyai Mayed Megudaya Misaviv, V'Loi Hadya, B'Yahim Afadinai, Palit V'Sarit, Asher Tipachti V'Bisi, Oy V'Chulam. Going on now to chapter 3. Just give it a moment as the page expands now. Chapter 3. Ani hagever roni b'shevet evrosoi oisina hag vayoylech oishech b'loyor ach biyashuv yafoich yodai kol hayoim bila b'sori ve'ori shibar atzmoisoi bana oloi ayikaf roishusla. Verse 6. Pamachshaki moishivani kimesei oyelam godar badi litzei hichpid nechoshti gam kiezak vashaveya sosam tefilosi godar drachai bigozis nesivoisai iva doivoire fuli ari b'mistarim Drachai soirer, vayefashcheni, samani shoymeim. Verse 12. Dorach kashtoy tziveni kmatara lachetz. Hevi v'chiyosoy b'nei ashposoy. Hayisi sechoik lecholami, neginasam kolayoim. Hisbani v'amroimi v'nefani lana v'agreis bechotzot shihinoi hichpishani ba'efer v'tiznach misholoim nafshi nashisi toiva v'emar avad nitzchi v'soichalti meyadinoi Zicharani mrudi lana v'rosh Zachar tizkor v'sashua cholai nafshi Zais ashiva libi al keinoichil. Verse 22. Chaste adinoi ki loy samenu ki loy chalu rachamo chadoshim labkorim Rabba emunasecha chalki adinoi amro nafshi al kein oichiloi toiv adinoi v'koivav lenefesh tidrishenu. Verse 26. Toiv yachil b'dumam Lishua sadinoi toiv lagever kisoil binudav Yeshe badod v'yidaim kinatal alav yitain bafar pihu ula yesh tikva yitain lemakeyu lechis babecharpo Ki lo yiznach le'olam adinai Ki mo'egav v'richam Kiroiv chasada. Verse 33. Ki lo yinam meviboy Vayaga b'nei ish L'dakei tachas raglav Koil asidei aretz Latois mishpat gover neged pinei elyoim Lavei sadam beriboy Adinoi lera Mize amar vatehi Adinai loy tziva, mipi elyon loy seitzei, harais v'hatoiv, ma yisoinen adam choy, gever al chatav, nach besad rachenu v'nach koira, v'nashuva adadoinoi, nisav avenu el kapoyim, el bashamoyim, nachnu fashanu umarinu, ata loy salachta, sakoy sava patir defenu, horakta loy chamalta, sakoy sava patir defenu, horakta loy chamalta. Verse 44. Sakoy sava nalach me'avor tefillah, Sechi u'ma'ois tisimenu b'kerev ha'amim, patzu aleinu piem kol oivenu, pachad v'fachas hoyolonu ashes v'ashover, palgimayim tereideni al shever basami, eini nigra v'lo yisidme ben hafugais, ad yashkif v'yere adinai mishamayim. Verse 51. Eini oilala l'nafshi mikol b'noi sivi. Verse 52. Tzaduni katipar oivechinam, samtzu babor chayoy v'yadu even bi, tzafu mayim aroishi amarti nihigzarti, korasi shimcha dinoi mibar tachtiyos, koili shamata al talei maznecha, l'rav chosi l'shavasi, korafta b'yai mekreka, amarta al tira, rafta dinai, ribei nafshi, galti chayoi. Verse 59. Risa dinai, anvasosi, avasosi, shavta mishpatoi, raisa kol nikmasam, kamach shvoisam lihi, shemata cherpasam adinai, kamach shvoisam olai, sifsei kamai begoinam, olai kol hayoi, shiftam lekimasam habita, ani manginasam, Toshiv lahem gemul, adinai k'masei titein lahem megina haslev, talascha lahem, tivdosh be'afes hashmideim, mitachas shemei Adonai. We're now holding chapter 4. There's one more chapter to go. And let's just get the right size here. Can everybody see? Chapter 4 of Eicha Lamentations. Eicha yu'am zahav, yishne kesem hatoiv, tishpatechna avnei kodesh b'rosh kol chutzois, b'nei tzion hayikorim hamesulaim bapos, eicha nechshevu l'nichvei cheres, maaseh yidei yoitzer, gam tanin chol tzushad, heiniku gureihem, pasach mi v'yachzor, kayenim bamidbar, Davak l'shoyn yoinek el chikoy batzama, oilalim shoalu lechem, poires ein lohem, hoechelim lemadanim, noshamu bachutzois, he'emunim alei soila, Chipku ashpatois. Vayigdal avoim basami. Mechata sedoim. Hafucha kimoiroga. V'loi chavo. Yodoyim. Zaku nezireha mishelek. Tzachu mechalov. Od muetzem mipninim. Sapir gizrasam. Verse 8. Choshach mishchar taram. Loi nikru bachutzois. Sofa doiram alatmam. Yoveish hayuchait. Verse 9. Toivim ayu chalelei cherev. Mechalelei ra'av. Shem yozuvu midu korim. Mitenuvais ahodai. Verse 10. Yidei Nashim Rachamoniyos Bishlu Yaldeihem Hayu Levarais Lamoi B'Shever Basami. Verse 11. Kilo Adinayes Chamosoi Shofach Haroy Napoi Vayetzes Eish B'Tzion Vatoichal Yesoidoi Seha Lo yaminu malchei eretz v'kol yoshvei sevel ki yavo etzar ve'oyev b'sharei Yerushalayim. Verse 13. Mechatois nevieho avoinois koyaneho hashofchim b'kirba dam tzadikim. Verse 14. No ivrim bachutzois Nagoy alu badav bila yuchlu yigu bevushehem. Verse 15. Suru tamei karu lamai suru altigo kinatsu gamnau amru bagoyim lo yosifu lagur. Pnei Adinai chilekam lo yosif lehabitam. Pnei choyanim lo nasau uzikenim lo chananu. Verse 17. Oyedeinu tichle einenu elezra seinu avel b'tzipiaseinu tzipinu el goy lo yoshia tzadu tzadenu Tzadu tzadenu milachas b'choivoseinu korav kitzeinu malu yameinu kiva kitzeinu. Verse 19. Kalim ayu roidefeinu minishrei shamayim al ha'orim delaknu bamidbar arvulanu. Verse 20. Ruach apeinu Mishiach Adonai Nilkad b'shchitzoisam asher amarnu b'tziloi nichye v'goyim. Verse 21. Sisi v'simchi basedoim yoisheves b'eretzutz gam olayich tavor kois tishkiri v'sisari. Verse 22. Tam avoneich pasiyoin lo yosif lahagloisech pokad avoneich basedoim gila al chatoisoyich. Moving on to the final chapter, chapter 5. Zechoer Adinai mehoyalanu habito es cherposeinu nachloseinu avchol ezorim boteinu lenachrim yisoimim ayinu ve'einav imoiseinu ke'almanos Meimenu v'chesef shosinu, Atseinu b'mchir yavoyu, Al tzavarenu nididofnu, Yoganu lehunach lonu, Mitzrayim nosanu yod, Ashu lisboya lochem, Aviseinu chotu ve'einam, V'anachnu aveneseinu savonu, Avodim mashlu vanu, Poirei kemiyadam, B'nafsheinu navi lachmeinu, Mipenei cherev hamidbar, Oireinu kisanur nichmaru, Mipenei zalafos rav, Noshim b'tziyaininu, B'sulais bareyuda. Verse 12. Sorim biyadam nislu, Pnei zekenim lo nedaru, Bachurim techai nasahu, Unearim ba'etz kashalu, Zekenim mishahar shavasu, Bachurim mineginasam, Shavas mesais libenu, Nepach li'eva mechaleinu, Nafelat teres roishenu, Oy nalanu ki chatanu, Alizeh hoyadaved lihibeinu, Alelech choshchu heineinu, Al har tzion sheshomeim, Shualim hilchu vai. Ata Adonai Elolam teshev, Kisachol ledor vador, Lama lo netzach tishkochenu, Ata zveinu l'yorech yamim, Hashivenu Adonai elecha, V'nashuva Chadesh yameinu kikedem, Ki ma'os me'astanu, Kafatz aleinu ad me'oid. Hashivenu Adonai elecha, V'nashuva Chadesh yameinu kikedem. And that, my friends, concludes the book of Lamentations. There are some traditional kinos, I'm going to pick it up inside my book, that are recited following Eicha. And let's just find it quickly. Believe it or not, it's not in the book. So I will send out a WhatsApp just now to everybody with the book of Kinos and Eicha with all the traditional lamentations that are meant to be said tonight. I would like to conclude with a short video for you. So you'll just give me a few minutes to get the video on. In the meantime, perhaps I could share with you a little insight on this period, this time. As you noticed here, we concluded Kinos we concluded Eicha, Lamentations, on a more positive note. It doesn't end very well. It's the prophecy of Jeremiah where he is telling us about the doom and gloom, about the destruction of Jerusalem, about all the sadness, the terrible times that our people were in for it back then. But nevertheless, we also said the words throughout this Kara Alai Moed. This day would be considered a holiday. It will be considered a festival in the future. And please God, it will be a better, in the future, this will be a holiday, a festival. This will be a better time. The only thing is sometimes parents need to get the attention of their kids. The story is told about a certain person who was once stuck at the top of a building. He didn't know what to do. How's he going to get out of there? What's his way out? He starts throwing money down. He figures if he throws money down to the people, people will get their attention, and they'll look up and they'll realize, that's where it's coming from. Let's help this guy get down. But when he threw all his money down and people just pocketed it, nobody came to his rescue. But then he started throwing pebbles and stones or whatever else he found up there. And sure enough, very quickly, people picked up on what's going on and they came to his help. And in that sense, very similarly, our sages tell us that Almighty God tried to get our attention in ways of love, showering us with all the good in the world. But unfortunately, we didn't get the message. So instead, the Almighty had to show it to us another way. And sadly, we experienced the destruction of the temple. But it's not about the temple itself. Obviously, God spared us in destroying the temple. And now it's our turn to try to fix, to rectify our mistakes of the past and to make a difference. So that's our task. What I'm going to do right now is show you a short film. And after that, if anyone has any points they want to say, please go ahead and do so. Oops, sorry, let's go back to the share. Ladies and gents, just a second. Let me just see if it came up on the screen in another way. Hold on.
Rabbi Ari, I just want to say thank you for doing this for us.
No worries.
You've made it so meaningful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share it in a different way that it's going to be a bigger screen and better sound quality. Okay, I'm going to go right back and let's just find it.
Tucked into Poland's southwestern corner, at the meeting of two rivers, lies the town of Oswięcim. In the early 1900s, a series of barracks was built here to house immigrant workers. A seemingly minor twist in Oswięcim's story that would dramatically change its fate. In 1939, Poland is invaded, triggering World War II. Within days, the German state, the Third Reich, captures Oswięcim and renames it Auschwitz. The Reich rounds up thousands of political prisoners across Poland. Needing a place to hold them, the eye of the German Schutzstaffel, the SS, falls on the barracks at Auschwitz. Inmates face starvation, disease, and deadly violence. With the death toll on the rise, architects from Germany's Topf & Sons are brought in to build a crematorium. The company's logo is stamped with pride on the ovens. The prisoner population swells, and the Reich orders the construction of a sub-camp called Birkenau that can hold 100,000 inmates. Auschwitz is voracious, swallowing whole villages. Eventually, there will be 48 subcamps, and Auschwitz will cover more land than any other camp in the Reich. Inmates now include Polish political prisoners, gypsies, and Jews, but not every group will find the same fate. Nazi Germany orders a change in policy. Jewish deportees will not be resettled, but exterminated. The so-called final solution to the Jewish question. Birkenau is repurposed as an extermination center. Topf & Sons returns to help build 4 more gas chambers and crematoria. The company boasts that its facilities can kill and dispose of more than 4,000 human beings in 24 hours. Trains full of Jewish prisoners, sometimes several thousand people a day, begin arriving at Birkenau from nearly every country occupied by Nazi Germany. They have no idea what awaits them, no inkling that their fates and those of the ones they love will be decided in a matter of minutes, that this may well be the last time they set eyes on one another.
A young SS officer raised his arm, and in one single movement, he sent my mom and the baby, my sister and my grandmother to his right, and then he sent me to his left. That was the very last time I saw them.
The process is called selection. An SS doctor casts his eye over new prisoners, deciding whether they're able to work. There is no official standard. His whim prevails, and a flick of his finger decides life or death.
It all happens quickly, as if on a conveyor belt. It's the night I lose my entire family.
Those considered fit for work, usually no more than a quarter of a transport, now begin a meticulous process of dehumanization.
The first thing is, we have to take all our clothes off, walking among prisoners and SS soldiers, naked. It was traumatic. Our heads were shaven. We could hardly recognize one another.
We are given rags in place of our clothes.
We were thrown a dress. No underwear, nothing. Just a dress and some shoes. Then we were tattooed.
We were told, forget your name. From now on, you're a number. That's all you are.
Inmates endure long, grueling days of labor. Some are forced to stand day and night in tiny cells, while others are chosen as human guinea pigs for brutal medical experiments.
It was a feeling of total despair. I said to myself, even if I were to sprout wings, I could not fly out of here.
And then there is the cruel anguish of wondering what's happened to loved ones, those taken away during selection. Women, children, the old and infirm, those deemed unfit for work, are taken through camp to a staircase that leads underground. Here they are ordered to undress and told to leave their clothes on numbered hooks to be easily located after what they are told will be a shower. Into a long, narrow room until they are tightly packed. The door is closed. SS guards drop pellets down wire mesh columns, releasing poisonous gas. Victims die an agonizing death. Their corpses are handled by the Sonderkommando, mostly Jewish prisoners forced to face a soul-destroying challenge: to cart out the bodies of fellow inmates and pull out any gold teeth before loading the corpses onto an elevator that carries them up to be burned in waiting ovens. As many as 2,000 people murdered in under 20 minutes. Yet, according to the SS, there are no murderers here. The system is designed to ease the conscience of the killers. Each guard carries out only a single discrete action along the line. In his mind, he personally has not killed anyone.
Singing? Here in the extermination camp, people are still able to sing? How is it possible?
Able to sing, able to draw, able to create. In the factory of death, stubborn signs of life. In a world where a person's individuality is systematically erased, here are faces rendered in exquisite detail. Artists at Auschwitz create an intimate view of life at the camp. A record that wouldn't otherwise exist. The children at Auschwitz show their own kind of resilience.
When we returned from work that evening, I found a small flower on my bed. "Many happy returns," my friend Rennie wished me. And with a wink, she added, "Did you think we had forgotten your birthday?"
When it becomes clear that Germany is losing the war, the SS abandons the camp. To hide their crimes, guards blow up Birkenau's crematoria and destroy most records.
A soldier picked me up, rocking me in his arms
tears flowing down his face. Somebody out there really cares about me. It was the first time I had that feeling.
Liberation would take only a matter of hours, but comprehension would be a very different thing. Generations have struggled with what to take away from this place, this story. Auschwitz isn't a moment preserved in amber. It's a scar on a living world, still vulnerable to the sickness of genocide. The past constantly reinvents and reasserts itself. The past is, in fact, present. Auschwitz reminds us of a powerful truth, that while the humanity of any one person can be extinguished, humanity itself cannot be. It endures, sometimes quietly. It triumphs, eventually.
Okay, ladies and gents, there is another Chabad event happening right now. So you're all welcome to move over to the other event with Rabbi Karlbach and Rabbi Hecht, who are going to be sharing more inspiring insights into Tisha B'Av. Would anyone be keen for a little program tomorrow morning? We could go through some of the kinos together. And we have Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson's program about Tisha B'Av and the First World War that you might find interesting. So if anyone's keen for that, I'll be putting it on. We'll join here at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. The usual time we do our morning shiur every day of the week, and everybody's always welcome to join our shiur every day at 10 a.m. right here. Always have some interesting, fascinating ideas to discuss. Whatever you want to share, we're always happy to discuss, to learn, and to study together. And whoever would like, please do join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for some kinos. We'll analyze some of the kinos of Tisha B'Av, discuss it, and then have Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson's program on Tisha B'Av and the First World War. All the best, Laila Tov. Feel well, everyone. See you tomorrow.